Alright, V Squad. So I heard that a lot of y'all want to stuff that y'all would want me to do for content. Y'all were saying that, y'all would like, free to play guides and stuff like that. So what I'm doing is I'm going to show y'all my Razor. Now, to be fair, my Razor is Constellation 4. Alright. I got lucky and I pulled him 4 times. Well, 5 times. And I got some little extra perks on these. But even without these, when I was playing with him and had him maxed out, he was still very strong. And I'm gonna show you guys why. First off, Razor is free to play. You can get him in the shop. He's also summonable, but you can get him in the shop. Usually, he will roll up in Paimon's bargain. In the start, well, here he is. He's right here. You can get him in the Star Glitter exchange. If you have that saved up from summoning. So he is free to get. Razor is usually built as your primary DPS. So he's going to be the one doing the most damage. He's going to be out in the field the most. His main weapon is, well, for free to play, I'll say his main weapon that you should be using is Prototype Archaic. And the reason why I say that is because as a DPS, you want to focus on damage the most. And as a free to play, this weapon is probably the best for him. It has base attack is fairly good. Attack percentage is high, and the perk that he has with that claymore, it gives you an extra every 15 seconds when you're attacking an opponent, you have a chance to deal, a little extra damage. Not even a little extra damage, because if you have a high base attack, that damage is really big. Like, you could tell the difference. So, yeah, this is a very useful one. There are also different 5 stars that you can use, like Skyward Blade. I'm honestly not familiar with all of the 5 star weapons that you can use, but that's besides the point because this video is for free to play. So that's what I have for weapons. Now his artifacts.
What is that?
Now I know y'all see this. I started building this Razor very early in the game. At that point in time, Razor's sets, or the most recommended set, was either this or I believe Full Gladiator. I might be wrong about that, but yeah, I wasn't really too knowledgeable on Gladiator pieces or just artifact pieces in general. Like the attack, crit rate, that was good, but there were some that weren't very ideal that I didn't really capitalize on. Like, this is probably not even probably, this is definitely not one of the good sets or one of the good substats that you should be getting on your character. For Razor, you want to focus on attack, crit rate, crit damage, because he is a DPS. Maybe a little bit of a little bit of energy recharge on him, because you do want to have his elemental burst active or available to you as soon as possible. But for the most part, attack, crit rate, crit damage, those are the 3 that you want to focus on. And also, when you want to do for Circlet, I'm going to do attack, have crit damage and crit rate. Those are probably, wow, this is a really good set. I didn't even realize this is really good. Like, it's perfect, actually. Wait, is it perfect? No, no, it's not, because I rolled defense the entire time. I didn't get a single thing on crit rate and crit damage. It's always something, isn't it? Circulate, you want to focus on attack, in my opinion. You could do crit rate, crit damage, because people also suggest that you do that for some DPS. For Sands, I also focused on attack. I just went full on attack with him because I just wanted to go all in on the damage because that's what he's used for. Now, when it comes to artifacts, I suggest that, because now that I'm looking back at it, Berserker is right now. I don't believe that Berserker is the best. Berserker is the best piece to farm, or Berserker or Gladiator. I don't believe those are the best pieces that you should be farming right now, especially because Gladiator, you get that from playing the bosses, usually the ones that give you, or that you have to spend 40 resin to beat and get their artifacts. I don't suggest doing that. You get the same perk when using the Shimenawa set. It gives you the same attack percentage, and you usually just have to do the domains to unlock it, and get the artifacts for it. And that only costs 20 resin, so it's much less cost to get it, and you'll probably be able to get it more efficiently than you would just fighting bosses and wasting a lot of your resin at one time just to get like a trash artifact like this. When it comes to Berserker for the second piece, I believe you want to do Gladiator for the first set, for the first two piece, and Thundering Fury for the second two piece. I don't believe I should be doing Berserker now that I'm, kind of a little bit more experienced when it comes to artifacts, because I believe you can get crit rate, much more crit rate off of just the substats alone. So I believe you should probably replace, if you do have that on, which I doubt you do, you should probably replace Berserker with Thundering Fury. And the reason why I say that is because Thundering Fury gives you electro damage bonus. Now you could go a full 4-piece if you just want to have good electro damage, or if you want to have a good sub DPS in Razor and have him, when you're doing swaps and quick swaps, dealing as much electro damage as possible. If you're not even doing him as a main DPS, but as a good sub DPS, a good support, you could go full 4-piece set. But if you want to do DPS as well, I believe attack percentage from the Shimenawa set or the Gladiator, whichever one you choose to do, I suggest Shimenawa. But from those sets, you do a 2-piece from those, and then a 2-piece from Thundering Fury. His talents, I believe in my opinion, normal attack. I mean, this could be pretty useful as well if you want to focus on dealing damage with the Claw and Thunder. But I believe normal attack and his elemental burst are the most important. So I went all in on these two. My attributes, as I said back in the day, I went all in on attack. I have 2.2k attack. Now look at my crit rate.
Oh! Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
It's just horrendous. Crit damage, horrendous. Energy recharge, in my opinion, I believe energy recharge, you don't need it as much as you would normal people, because the way that Razor's skill works is if you hold it, his Claw and Thunder. So if you press his elemental skill, it will give you an electro sigil. So it's like one of those. It's like one of these like electric spheres that show up on your back. And let me see if I can show you. Okay, so you see when I press it once, it gives me one of those electric spheres. If you press it again, it'll give you a second one. You see that? And then you press it again, it has a really low cooldown. It gives you 3, and then when you finally hold it, Ah, shoot. And when you finally hold it, it'll give you a lot more elemental particles after you know, hit somebody with it. Oh, shoot, I am dying. I still believe it's important, but when it comes to, in comparison to other DPS, he probably doesn't need it as much. All right. Now, when it comes to team comps, um, I believe he works best with Xingqiu. Well, if we're being honest, a lot of people work better with Xingqiu, but because he's like pretty much the ultimate support. But for him, it works really well because if you activate his Q or you activate his elemental burst, he has the rain sword, which continues to attack people every couple of seconds. And if you activate that with Razor's elemental skill or elemental burst, you're dealing constant hydro and electro damage, and those elemental reactions are really helpful. So he's probably one of the best supports with Razor, in my opinion. Bennett also one of the really good ones because of course Bennett boosts your damage and he heals you, but he boosts your damage. So if you do, for example, if you do Bennett burst, then Xingqiu burst, then Razor burst, you're gonna be doing tons of damage, tons of elemental reactions. Um, yeah, it's gonna be really good. They're a really good combo. Zhongli, you know, for the shield. If you want to use him, you can also use Zhang Ling if you want. If you want, you know, the extra pyro. Now, as you can see, I can't do a full showcase because these people aren't fully leveled yet. I want to do a really big showcase for most of my characters when I have them all leveled up. I'm currently saving for Hu Tao though, so I can't like go all in and level these people out. Shoot, even if I wanted to, I'm kind of broke if I'm being honest. I can show y'all the Venti combo though. So, um, yeah, I'll get to that. Be back in a minute. I love doing this when I was farming Venti's domain for the Viridescent. I'm gonna have to get my particles back. Luckily, Venti has some good energy recharge. Okay, now watch this. Watch this. Watch this. And it just gets fun at that point. It just gets really fun at that point. Even against the, you know, the normal people who don't get dragged in as easily, you could still use this. You can still use that to get the elemental swirl, like the electro swirl, and do that extra damage. And then from there, you could just use all your other characters to get even more elemental damage and elemental particles and reactions. It's a really fun team to use. Oh, before I go, because I don't think I went into much detail with this, to get the claymore for Razor, the prototype archaic, you go here to the blacksmith in Mondstadt. I'm not sure if they have the same, if you're able to get the same prototypes in the other regions. I'm gonna have to check. But yeah, you go to Wagner and you know, I'd like something made. And usually, see, it would show up in the materials and you would need one of these, the Northlander Claymore billet. And it's dropped by bosses, so I'm gonna have to, I'll edit it in when I find out which bosses drop it. But you're probably seeing it on the screen right now, honestly. But yeah, you get it from there, and then you get the crystal chunks that you find, you know, wherever, and also the white iron chunks that you find wherever. But with that said, if you enjoyed the little free to play guide, I know this, for this being my first one, it's a little, it could be better. I'm working on it, but if you enjoy the free to play guide, please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more for different characters. I Now I do buy a little bit of crystals sometimes to summon for characters, but I used to be a free to play once. I understand the struggle, so I am going to try and help you guys out and show y'all the best things that you need to make it without having to spend money on anything. Comment what you want to see next, and with that said, I'll leave you V, catch you at the X, and I'm out. Peace.